Welcome back to Digital Art with Kenzie. Today we're diving into the magical world of one of the most beloved stories of all time, the tale of Cinderella. Whether you know her as a Disney classic princess, or from the many different versions of her story around the world, there's a lot more to this character than what meets the eye. First things first, let's talk about the origins of Cinderella. You might be surprised to learn that the story of Cinderella isn't just one single tale. Oh no, Cinderella's story has evolved over thousands of years and has been told by countless cultures in many different forms. I knew there was a couple different ones, but I never realized how many different versions of Cinderella there actually is until I was doing this video. The roots of Cinderella stretch all the way back to ancient history, before any of us were even thought about being born. The earliest known version of Cinderella dates back to ancient Greece in the 1st century BC. The Greek story, Rhodopis, I'm probably going to say most of these names wrong because 99% of them are not in English, so bear with me, tells the tale of a beautiful young woman who was taken as a slave in Egypt. One day, while bathing, a beautiful, powerful eagle swoops down and steals one of her sandals. Can you imagine? You're just taking a bath and this big old eagle comes down and was like, nope, that's mine now. Like, that's like a pigeon whenever they talk about all the pigeons. I think it's pigeons. No, it's seagulls. Yeah, talking about all the seagulls stealing stuff on a beach, that's what that reminds me of. Once the pharaoh finds Rhodes, he marries her, and they live happily ever after. Though it's a different version from the story we know today, you can definitely see the connection. An unexpected shoe discovery, a prince, and a happily ever after ending. They all have the same, plot to them, I guess you could say, even though some of them are a little bit different, like the girl is different or the setting's different, stuff like that. Now, let's travel through time and space. As the centuries passed, the Cinderella story spread across the world, with countless versions sprouting up in different cultures. In China, there's a tale called Yi Ixin, which dates back to the 9th century. Yi Ixin, like Cinderella, is mistreated by her stepmother but finds help from a magical fish, which gives her a beautiful gown and shoes to wear to a royal event. Fancy. You can see that the magical assistance and the idea of a mysterious figure helping remain a central theme to Cinderella. But perhaps the most famous version of the Cinderella story comes from Europe, particularly France. Enter Charles Perrault, a French author who in 1967 wrote the version of Cinderella that many of us are familiar with today. Cinderella, the French name for Cinderella, was published in Perrault's collection of fairy tales. Perrault's version introduced many of the iconic elements we know today and love, such as the pumpkin carriage, the fairy godmother, and, of course, the glass slipper. Fun fact, Perrault didn't actually invent the glass slipper. That part came from a translation of the French word verre, which means both glass and fur. So some scholars argue that Perrault may have originally written fur slipper, but the translation into English later turned it to glass slipper. Fur slipper would have made no sense, so I'm guessing that it's supposed to be glass, but if it was fur slipper, cool, I guess. I mean, fur slipper would be comfier, so I wouldn't blame her if that's what she was wearing. And here's another fun fact. Perrault's Cinderella was the first one to be named Cinderella. Before that, the heroine in most versions was just known as the girl or the servant, but Perrault decided to give her a name. Cinderella was actually based on the French word cider, referring to the ashes Cinderella would tend to while doing the housework. Cinderella's story didn't just stop with Perrault's version, it continued to grow. In the 19th century, the brothers Grimm, Jacob and Wilhelm, also wrote a version of the tale in their collection of German fairy tales. In their version, Aschenputtel, which I probably said that wrong, Cinderella's path to the ball is a bit darker. For instance, instead of a fairy godmother, she receives help from a magical tree she planted on her mother's grave. And instead of a pumpkin, there's a hazel tree that provides her with the magical gown and her shoes. The Grimm brothers' take on the story also introduces some grimmer elements, like the stepsisters cutting off parts of their feet to try and fit into the glass slipper. Honestly, their adaptation of it seems more interesting, but maybe I'm just a weirdo and like darker stories. Now, what's even cooler is how different cultures adapted the Cinderella story over time. In Italy, there's a version called La Cinderella, probably said that wrong again, where the fairy godmother is replaced by a magical mentor named Alidoro, a philosopher who helps Cinderella win the prince's heart. In Russia, there's a story called Valissa the Beautiful, where Valissa gets help from a magical doll that her mother gave her before she passed away. The doll acts as her guide, leading her to a happy ending. Cinderella continued to evolve throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, but it wasn't until the 1930s that one of the most iconic versions of the tale would emerge, the Disney animated movie. In 1950, Walt Disney brought the magic of Cinderella to the big screen, forever shaping how the world would view her. The animated film became a major success and helped revive Disney's fortune after the studio faced financial struggles during the Great Depression. You go Cinderella. If we didn't have Disney, I don't know what I'd do, because I might be almost 21, but you're damn sure that I'm going to be putting a Disney movie on the TV. I probably watched Aladdin and Hercules almost every single day for 2 years straight. So, not lately, but like whenever I was younger, those were my two movies. But like, I still watch Disney movies as an adult. Like, I'll sit here in bed and watch Disney movies. I don't care. Disney's Cinderella introduced us to some of the most iconic imagery in pop culture, like the glass slipper fitting perfectly, the transformation of the pumpkin into a carriage, and of course, the song, "A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes." The Disney version also solidified the classic image of Cinderella in a blue ball gown, which is probably what most people picture when they think of her today. I know that's what I picture, is her in the blue ball gown with the blonde hair, the same picture that we're drawing today, basically. And while Disney's adaptation is the most famous, it's important to note that Cinderella has appeared in countless forms. There are stage productions, ballets, and even modern takes on the story, like Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, which was adapted for TV multiple times, featuring stars like Brandy and Whitney Houston. More recently, in 2015, Kenneth Branagh's live-action Cinderella, starring Lily James, gave the story a new, yet still traditional, look while celebrating its timeless themes. There is honestly so many Cinderella movies that I don't even know the difference of them anymore, and I'm just going to stick to the original because most of the stories now are the exact same, just with different people. Cinderella's impact isn't just confined in books and movies. She's had a huge cultural influence around the world. From fashion to music, Cinderella's themes of beauty, grace, and preservance have inspired various art forms. And let's not forget that this little girl, who didn't mean anything to anybody, that sounds mean, but it's true, got the prince of all people. Yeah, it's fake. Love is, yeah, that's fair. But I think it's just the overall thing that, like, even if people say you're not good enough, you can still get, like, more than what you think you deserve at the time and realize how good of a person you are. I don't know, I'm going on a rant. But did you know that Cinderella's ball gown has actually become a fashion icon on its own? The idea of a magical transformation from rags to riches resonates with the world of fashion. In fact, many designers have taken inspiration from her famous ball gown, making it a staple in high fashion collections. And let's not forget that every single store in every single Disney park will have a Disney dress for the little girls. And they look adorable in it. Every single little girl that I've seen in a princess dress, oh my god, so cute. On the music front, Cinderella has also inspired songs across multiple genres. From Broadway musicals to pop songs, her journey has been immortalized in lyric form. Many of the songs taken from Cinderella express themes of hope, independence, and dreams coming true. Let's talk about Cinderella's legacy that has continued to evolve in modern media. Over the years, Cinderella's story has been reimagined in countless films, TV shows, and even video games. One fun example is the Cinderella reboot in 2021, which features a modern twist on the classic tale. This version stars the singer Camila Cabello in the role of Cinderella, showing us that even today, we can still enjoy an old story turned into something new. Camila Cabello is honestly so pretty, and if it wasn't for Shawn Mendes, I would have never known who she was. I haven't watched that one, but I heard that it's pretty good. There's also a surprising trend in Cinderella adaptations, where the traditional prince role is reimagined or made more complex. Take Ever After, a 1998 film starring Drew Barrymore. It presents a realistic, empowered Cinderella with a much deeper backstory and even some social activism. These adaptations show how timeless stories like Cinderella can be reinterpreted to fit the values of contemporary society. The story of Cinderella is so much more than a magical tale. It's a story filled with symbolism and powerful morals. Cinderella's character represents virtue, patience, and resilience, and the way she overcomes adversity speaks to our human capacity to endure hardship and rise above it. Or also, like I was talking about on my rant, where you could think that you're not good enough, and then you end up getting the prince because you're actually a better person than everybody who wanted the prince. The symbolism of the glass slipper is particularly profound. It's said to represent Cinderella's uniqueness, just as the slipper is the perfect fit for her. She is the perfect fit for her destiny, and no one can take her place. This makes the moment where the prince tries the slipper on the other maidens so poignant. It's a reminder that only Cinderella can be herself, just as only she can wear the slipper. I guess unless you cut your feet off to make it fit like the grimmer version of Cinderella. Another key element is the fairy godmother, a symbol of the supernatural intervention of Cinderella's life. The fairy godmother isn't just about turning pumpkins into carriages, she represents hope and magic in times of need. She teaches us that, and when we feel all is lost, something, sometimes, or someone magical can come along and change our lives. It's a message that resonates with the hope that no matter how difficult things get, help can come when least expected. Probably not going to be something magical, but you never know who can come into your life and help you out when you need it the most. But what is it about Cinderella that makes her story so enduring? Well, it's the universal themes of kindness, resilience, and transformation. Cinderella's journey from mistreated servant to beloved princess resonates with people of all ages and all cultures. She's a symbol of hope, reminding us that no matter how hard life gets, a little bit of magic, a lot of heart, and a good belief in dreams can lead to a happy ever after. So, what's next for our friend Cinderella? She's as popular as ever, inspiring new generations with her strength, beauty, and unbreakable spirit. Whether she's in your favorite Disney movie, a Broadway show, or a book you're reading, Cinderella's story will likely continue to evolve, but the heart of her tale will always remain the same. And there you have it, the rich and magical story of Cinderella, one of the world's most beloved fairy tales. From ancient Greece to Disney, Cinderella's story has transcended time and culture, evolving into the fairy tale we know today. What's your favorite version of Cinderella? Be sure to comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more art content. I'll see you in the next video.